Hello, this is Victor at RestoringMercedes.com. Today we have 2003 SL500 that has a few issues. The biggest issue that we have here now is the vehicle stopped starting. It was running, it was driving, it was supposed to be a roof repair, an ABC suspension repair, valve blocks to be specific, but then suddenly car would just not start anymore, and suspension went down, of course, as you can see it, so it was brought over. Now here, look at that, something came alive. Yeah, see, something is coming alive on the dash because I'm charging the battery for the longest. Now we're supposed to show neutral, but there is absolutely no engagement from the key, no start at all. Radio doesn't work, rest feature doesn't work. There's some sort of communication happening. When door is open, seat on the driver's side does not move, although on the passenger side the window drops and seat moves. As you can see that. And window drop down works. I'm still charging the battery. In the trunk there is my charger, and very bizarre situation. So first things first, I do suspect some power issues, so I went straight to the source from the starting battery, which is brand new, and powers are all there. Rear battery is absolutely flat. There's nothing there. There was like 10 volts on it, so there was a drain of some sort, and right now I'm having that battery on the charger. Now lights come on, nothing else really works. As you can see, there is some sort of situation going on this side, because when you open the door you're supposed to have obviously seat move just like on the passenger side, but it is not happening. Windows do not close, they don't work at all, because I do not have, it feels like I don't have ignition on circuit, or some other area the power is lost. So this is the baseline. This thing is new, actually. This was not shown up at all. And here in the trunk we got millions of parts, but that's from before. Now the voltage is dropping right now. I just shut down my charger, 12.7. So the rear battery, I'll leave it on charge, let it be, that won't hurt. Oh yeah, one more note I want to make. See, this window works, it follows, and also when we push the button to move seat forward, it actually does work. All these modules were opened up and get access to, not by me, that was somebody else. So let's take a look. See, here I do have a little problem. There's lots of hydraulic fluid all over rear SAM, which is not a great sign, but that might be a problem because all of this fluid is aggressive, and we obviously would not like to see hydraulic all over the place. That is that. Now on this side, however, if I push the button, oh, look at that, it moves. Wow, okay, this is new, that's great. But nonetheless, door controls don't work. When trunk is open, the light does not tell me that the trunk is open. No seat control work. The windows obviously don't work because no ignition. All right, the car was put in neutral just to get it to tow, and somehow key did turn and shifter was moved to neutral. I wasn't there, I don't know, but there was some power jumped up on in the fuse box, which is also a dangerous situation because you don't know what you're shorting and what's happening. So obviously I'm gonna be looking into power situations first. Okay, at this point I went to the source right away for the ignition switch, and sure enough there is no power on main wires here. They go straight from the front prefuse. But the point I wanted to make is this panel was removed badly. These clips are broken. It's like all of these things are broken off. So I took this off, and then I realized that this is broken. I mean, it could have been just removed, you know, but it's ripped out. So I don't know, somebody was here before me doing something, looking for something, I assume. But anyway, it will remain. I mean, it still holds more or less. See this little clippy, this is supposed to go like this, you know, something like that. I mean, this is not that difficult to remove. Well, it was really butchered here, and this was ripped out. I mean, how can you break that? I don't know. Oh, here it goes. Just like you really have to go on it really hard. But anyway, he'll hold because it was holding. There's a couple of resemblance of the clips like right around here. We'll make it happen, you know. It's gonna stay. But the second thing is, now I have to look for power here. Now the key is recognized. This is a great thing, very, very good, because if I put on the key, I can spin it, I can turn the key. When I turn the key, of course nothing happens because we have absolutely no power, and that power comes from the front prefuse. Looking at diagrams, 80 amp fuse. So I'm going to look into that next. Okay, so yesterday I went to look at a few things here, and I overlooked one detail because actually rain started to develop and it started to become very heavy, and I just packed it all up and went inside. Now the prefuse box here, the 80 amp fuse is blown, so for now temporarily I made this 40 amp fuse. Actually it's a 40 amp fuse, and just bolted in instead of 80. Obviously I'm going to put the correct fuse in there, but the point here is that it doesn't matter how it looks right now. We're talking about looking for an issue. So the idea here is just to see if 40 amp fuse is gonna blow, because if 80 amp fuse blew, then 40 amp fuse obviously will blow. But this is what we have. Key is recognized. See, the dashboard comes on, ignition comes on, and the car starts. So I think I'm still missing some powers. The windows still don't work on this door. Seat still doesn't work on this door. The trunk doesn't work. Windows do not follow. So we definitely have another issue somewhere. Well, at least I have, feels like I have air conditioner, because it is getting hot. And well, my hood is open, obviously, so that might contribute to the error message in terms of putting selector lever to park, but it isn't parked, which is very bizarre. It doesn't shift because I have to push the brake. What I was checking last time is the rest button. The rest button on climate control does not work. Power on the radio works. Okay, good. So the rest button is still at fault. Suspension goes up and down. That is a good news. Summer winter works. Okay, so at least I have an idea what's going on. At least I have car to start. That's great, so I can bring it back to my work spot. And I think right now I'm going to put this panel back in, and I can move the car back and forth, and that is the result. Why that 80 amp fuse blew? That is my question, because basically there is really no point for such a big fuse to blow, and 40 amp fuse in its place works just fine. So my biggest concern is that it seems by diagram this fuse, it appears to be straight to the ignition switch, and obviously ignition switch, when you turn it, there are contact points for ignition on. So I'm afraid that something happened down the lines. So on the diagram here we have two red cables right here coming in. These are the wires that go to ignition switch. Inside ignition switch there are contact points, and we have 15R and 15, two ignition on terminals. Once the key turns, then you get power to go there. So one of them goes to Z34, that's a splice, and it sends power to other modules, and then it also sends power to this K42. I think it's the left SAM, and this is the right SAM. That's not SAM actually, this is the fuse boxes. SAMs are like N1011, N1010, or something like that. Well, anyway, long story short, these are the consumers. This is the supply, these are the consumers. So if 40 amp fuse right now did not blow, that means that right now there are no shorts. Because how can you blow that fuse? Ignition module, I mean the ignition switch, just switches them over, just contact points inside. So obviously problem is after the actual ignition switch. So for that reason I can put ignition switch back in. All that matters here is that the key, if you put the key in, it turns. That's what is my major concern is. So the ignition switch itself is fine, I don't have a problem with it, but now we have to look forward further into what actual consumers blew that 80 amps.